In the first 3 months of 2026, more than 37,000 Canadians filed for insolvency. That is the highest quarterly number since 2009, since the global financial crisis. In Toronto right now, there are 4,295 brand new condos sitting completed and empty, built, finished, ready to move in. Nobody's buying them. And in Q1 of this year, only 246 new condos sold across the entire Greater Toronto and Hamilton area. That's 94% below the 10-year average. For the first time in at least 30 years, not a single new condo project launched in the city. These two things, the insolvency surge and the housing collapse, are connected. And the people caught in the middle are home flippers and real estate investors who bet on prices going up, borrowed to make it happen, and are now trying to figure out how to get out. So today, let's go through exactly what happened, what the real data shows, and why a strategy that worked for years has stopped working. Fast. For a long time, flipping homes in Canada was almost a guaranteed play. You buy a property, hold it for a few months, maybe renovate it a bit, then sell it for $30,000 to $80,000 more than you paid. In Toronto and Vancouver especially, investors were doing this over and over and treating it like a business. At the peak in early 2023, 2.61% of all homes sold in Canada were flipped, meaning they were bought and resold within 12 months. That was a record high. And even in 2024, when the market was already cooling, that rate barely dropped. It sat at 2.42% in Q2. So the activity was still there. People kept doing it. But the numbers underneath that activity had already changed. Average GTA home prices fell from $1,334,544 in February 2022 down to $1,008,968 in February 2026, according to TRREB data. That is a 24.4% decline in 4 years, the steepest correction the Greater Toronto Area has seen since the early 1990s. And according to TD Economics, by the time this correction bottoms out, which they don't see happening until around 2028, prices could have fallen 25 to 30% from the 2022 peak. When you're flipping in a market where prices are falling, the model completely reverses. You buy, you hold for several months while paying a mortgage, you renovate, and then you sell for less than you paid. That's not a flip. That's a loss with extra steps. And the renovation costs didn't help either. According to Statistics Canada, construction costs for residential buildings in Canada's 15 largest cities rose 4% year over year in 2024. Labor is more expensive, materials cost more, and competition for distressed properties, the exact kind of home flippers need, drove up entry prices. The margin that made flipping work essentially evaporated, but that was only one part of the problem. Here's the one that really caught a lot of people off guard, especially the newer investors who jumped into flipping after 2021. In January 2023, the federal government changed how profits from quick property sales are taxed. Under the new rules, if you sell a home within 12 months of buying it, the CRA automatically treats your entire profit as business income, not a capital gain. That's a big deal. Previously, capital gains were only 50% taxable, so if you made $100,000 on a flip, you were paying tax on $50,000 of that. Under the new rules, you pay tax on the full $100,000. Depending on your income bracket, that can eat up 40 to 50 cents of every dollar you made. The profit gets cut in half before you even touch it. British Columbia went further. The province introduced its own separate home flipping tax in 2025, applying to any property sold within 2 years of purchase, with rates increasing the faster you sell. BC flippers are now navigating 2 layers of tax, one federal and one provincial. And the CRA hasn't been quiet about enforcement. In one high-profile case, a BC flipper named Belcar Buller was convicted of tax evasion and fined more than $2 million for not reporting nearly $7.5 million in earnings from 14 properties sold between 2011 and 2014. That case sent a message. So put it all together, falling sale prices, higher renovation costs, a tax rate that in some cases doubled overnight.
Investors who bought properties in 2021 and 2022, expecting the market to keep going up, ran into all three of these walls at once, and a lot of them didn't see it coming until they were already committed.
Now let's get specific about where things have gotten the worst. The Toronto condo market is in what TD Economics is calling the longest correction since the 1980s. Benchmark resale condo prices in the GTA fell 10% year over year in the first quarter of 2026, the sharpest annual drop since the correction started in 2023. Condo resales in Q1 were down 11% from last year and sitting 40% below the 10-year average for that time of year. TD's current projection, prices won't start meaningfully recovering until 2028, after falling somewhere between 25 and 30% from the early 2022 peak. The people hardest hit right now are pre-construction buyers, investors who signed contracts back in 2021 or 2022 at peak prices, paid their deposits, and just received the keys to their units this year. Those units are now worth significantly less than what was agreed to years ago. CBC News spoke to Vitor Almeida, one of many buyers in this situation. He's facing a unit worth less at completion than when he signed the contract. He can't sell without taking a real loss, and walking away means losing his deposit and potentially facing legal action from the developer. Real estate lawyer Gathia Manoharan told CBC that many of her clients have tried the assignment route, finding someone else to take over the contract, but said only one buyer out of many she's worked with has actually managed to pull it off. Builders can charge tens of thousands of dollars just to approve the transfer. The numbers from Urbanation, one of Canada's main condo market data firms, tell the full story. In Q1 of 2026, just 246 new condos sold in the Greater Toronto-Hamilton area, down 52% from a year earlier, and 94% below the 10-year Q1 average of 4,046 sales. There were 0 new condo project launches, first time in at least 30 years. A record 4,295 completed but unsold units are sitting on the market right now. That's more than double the number from a year ago and nearly 5 times higher than 2 years ago. At the current sales pace, that represents 92 months of supply. Another 8,629 unsold units are still under construction. Developers have cut asking prices by 5% year over year to an average of $1,189 per square foot. Resale units in the same buildings are selling for $859 per square foot, 25% below the peak price from early 2022, and still 38% cheaper than what developers are asking for new units. Sean Hildebrand, president of Urbanation, said it plainly, "I think for buyers, there's a fear of catching a falling knife." All 3 levels of government just agreed on a deal to remove the HST from new condo sales for 1 year, which is expected to cut about $100,000 off asking prices. Even with that, the gap between new and resale prices only narrows to 20%. The market response has been slow.
Now let's look at what all of this is doing to actual people's finances. As of this week, May 2026, Canada is sitting at insolvency levels not seen since the 2009 global financial crisis. The Office of the Superintendent of Bankruptcy reported 37,121 Canadians filed for insolvency in the first 3 months of 2026 alone. That's up 8.5% from the same period last year. And the monthly pace is accelerating. Insolvency filings rose 17.5% between January and March. Doug Hoyes, a licensed insolvency trustee and co-founder of Hoyes Michaelos & Associates, described this as the canary in the coal mine. His February 2026 report found that homeowner insolvencies now make up 8% of all filings, up from 5% in 2024. 2-income households filing for insolvency hit 23%, the highest level since 2017. Ontario is ground zero. According to Better Dwelling, March 2026 saw the most monthly insolvency filings in Ontario since 2010. The province's manufacturing sector has also taken a hit from U.S. tariffs, layering economic pressure on top of housing stress. For real estate companies and developers, things are also deteriorating. Globe and Mail reporting found that real estate insolvencies in Canada were on track to exceed 240 filings in 1 year, 57% higher than 2023 levels and 13% above the numbers seen during the 2009 financial crisis itself. The national unemployment rate hit 6.9% in April, and Canada shed 47,000 full-time jobs in just that 1 month, 18,000 jobs lost in total when accounting for part-time gains. For investors already carrying additional properties they can't sell, that kind of job market makes everything worse. National mortgage delinquency rates have been rising steadily too. According to Equifax Canada and CMHC data, the share of mortgages past due by 90 or more days has climbed from 0.14% in Q3 2022 to 0.22% in Q3 2025, a 57% increase in 3 years. While the rate is still historically low, economists are watching the pace of change. Ontario has seen the steepest increases of any province. Andre Bolduc, speaking on behalf of the Canadian Association of Insolvency and Restructuring Professionals, said the 3 main drivers pushing people under right now are housing costs, auto loans, and food, the basics. And for someone who is also carrying a rental property or a flip they can't sell, those pressures stack fast.
As of today, May 19, 2026, the national average MLS home price sits at $664,400, down 5% from a year ago and 21% below the $841,300 peak recorded in March 2022, according to CREA data. The CMHC's Spring 2026 Housing Supply Report said it plainly. Condo presales collapsed, unsold inventory surged, and financial conditions tightened across the board. Ontario is on pace for housing starts near 20-year lows this year, and TD Economics says the GTA condo correction may not fully stabilize until 2028, after a total price decline of 25 to 30% from the peak. For investors who got in late, who bought properties in 2021 or 2022 expecting the market to simply continue going up, the math has turned completely against them. Falling sale prices, higher renovation costs, a doubled tax rate on profits, a buyer pool that pulled back, all at once. Jim Emelson of Better Properties Real Estate Group at Royal LePage Signature Realty put it bluntly. When you get burned by an asset class, whether it's real estate or equities, you never go back to it. It's just human nature. I don't see a lot of investors going back into the market, so that's a big group of buyers that I think is wiped out for many, many years. And he said this, sellers have to forget about what happened 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 years ago because that was a completely different world. That's not a prediction. That's someone watching it happen in real time. For homeowners, renters, first-time buyers, all the people sitting on the sidelines trying to figure out when or whether to move, the honest answer right now is that there's no clean bottom in sight for several markets, especially Toronto condos. The data doesn't offer false comfort. What it does show is why so many investors who seemed to be doing everything right just a few years ago are now dealing with situations they didn't plan for. The strategy didn't just slow down, it reversed. Everyone's watching what happens next.